Ever wondered what life would be like in the next 2,000 years? Will we have flying cars? Will we have personal robots? There's no certainty to how that'll go, but this is how people in 1899 envisioned the year 2000. Let's begin. For the Paris World Exhibition in 1899, a group of French artists were challenged to envision their ideal world in 2000. They conducted interviews with scientists, entrepreneurs, and influential people of the time to create a list of inventions that would be in use by 2000. The products of their imagination demonstrate the progress humanity has made. Some predictions are almost funny, some are surprisingly precise, and some are revolutionary. These resultant images were used as cigar boxes and forgotten for 70 years, until Isaac Asimov was able to obtain a set and published a set of images in 1986 under the title Future Days, a 19th century vision of the year 2000. The French artists predicted things like whale-powered underwater transportation, a technological device that implants knowledge into people's brains, and personal aircraft. They also foresaw technological developments including labor-saving devices, modern conveniences or appliances that make everyday tasks easier and more convenient, and tools and equipment for farming that are more productive. In addition, the artists foresaw the use of military aircraft and other flying machines in warfare. They also saw law enforcers pursuing suspects at top speed on motorcycles. Some of the forecasts came true, like Elon Musk's Neuralink brain interface, while others, like spending a lot of time underwater, though not quite accurate, still happened. The pictures depict historical visions of the future and highlight our progress toward achieving some of those prognostications. En l'an 2000, France in the year 2000. What did French artists of the turn of the century envision life would be like in 2000? One clue comes from the artwork of Jean-Marc Coté, which features, among other absurdly fantastical depictions of our current millennium, winged firefighters and scuba divers riding enormous seahorses. For $10,000 a set, rare book reseller Type Punch Matrix in Silver Spring, Maryland, is presently selling copies of these endearing, though not particularly accurate or insightful, books. The 78 distinct artworks are claimed to be the most extensive collection of Français en l'Anmis, France in the year 2000, pictures. They are masterfully done. Every card tells a little story on its own. The tone strikes a striking balance between optimism and tongue-in-cheek self-awareness. Rebecca Romney, co-founder of Type Punch Matrix, wrote in an email to ArtNet News. Moreover, the aesthetic is a fantastic illustration of the kind of 19th century imagery that has influenced modern steampunk aesthetics. Armand Gervais, a toy manufacturer, commissioned the colorful engravings for the 1900 Paris Exposition from Coté, who was a freelance commercial artist frequently hired on tasks for the company. The business abruptly closed after its founder passed away in 1899. Thus, although the cards were created, they were never sold. The pictures, which included fantastical retro-futuristic portrayals of commonplace objects like complex mechanical equipment for anything from brooms to haircuts, were forgotten for many years. Fortunately, the wonderful dreams they had for the new millennium were preserved for future generations by none other than the renowned science fiction author Isaac Asimov, who wrote beloved books like I, Robot and the Foundation trilogy. The cards were bought by a Parisian antiquities merchant in the 1920s from the Archive Gervais collection. 50 years later, novelist Christopher Hyde found them in Paris. He bought them in 1978 at a store named Editions Renaud on the left bank and gave the cards to Asimov. The science writer used the pictures as inspiration for Future Days, a 19th century vision of the year 2000, which was published in 1986. Not only did Asimov release the pictures for the first time, but he also provided analysis on which paintings were still implausibly fantastical, which ones better reflected the reality of contemporary life, and the challenges associated with producing such forecasts. Thus, while Cote's fantasy of a whale-drawn underwater school bus remains firmly grounded in reality, the classroom setting with students using headphones is remarkably similar to how students will learn in 2021, just without the textbooks being pulverized and forced into their minds. In subsequent years, the pictures have been widely replicated online, with varying accounts about Gervais' intended distribution strategy. They weren't postcards, in my opinion, Romney stated. They are much too small to be on a postcard from that era. And the versos are blank, which is not always necessary, but by this era there are often at least guiding lines printed. This does not necessarily mean that they were distributed with cigars or cigarettes. These kinds of trade cards were distributed for many different products, from coffee to pianos. They do, however, mimic the size and style of the advertising trade cards found in cigarette boxes of this era. Regardless, viewers in the 21st century are still in awe of Cote's future predictive abilities. They are still relevant, and they get more and more relevant over time, Romney stated. A scientist dealing with bacteria is depicted in one of the cards, while a Zoom session is shown in another. There's even a device that seems to function similarly to a modern Roombas. Taking a look at these cards is similar to hooking up with a friend you haven't seen since high school. You feel as though time is compressing and you are reflecting back on how much has changed and how different things were in the past. Underwater sea travel. This series features an illustration of underwater sea voyage that presents a vision of exploration and modern technology. The picture shows people exploring the ocean's depths with highly advanced equipment and vehicles. The artists imagined a time when people might easily go underwater in specially designed vehicles resembling submarines. Remember that these drawings were produced almost a century ago, and they capture the innovative and speculative thinking of that era. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, there was a strong emphasis on technological advancement and progress, which the artists attempted to convey. Even while the illustration's specific vision of undersea sea transport may not have come to pass exactly as planned, it nevertheless captures the intrigue of the possibilities for exploration by humans and technology improvement. Submarines, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and other cutting-edge technologies are actually used in modern undersea exploration, albeit the goals and designs may be different from those portrayed in the drawings from the early 20th century. Underwater tourism is scarcely a novel idea these days. General-purpose diving gear was designed by Jacques Cousteau in 1942, and since 1967, the Professional Association of Diving Instructors, or PADI, has certified 27 million divers worldwide. Around 6 million scuba divers and numerous snorkelers explore the borders of our oceans, diving into sunken wrecks, swimming alongside whales and turtles, and even venturing into underwater caves, according to Scubanomics. Torpedo Plane. One of the futuristic concepts portrayed in the Français et l'Ennemi series of illustrations produced for the 1900 Exposition Universelle in Paris was the torpedo plane. In this context, the term torpedo plane refers to an aircraft that is equipped with torpedo-like devices, probably for military or strategic purposes, and is designed for aerial travel. The drawing presents a picture of a future in which torpedoes can be carried and launched by aircraft, indicating that aviation technology has progressed to that stage. Underwater projectiles known as torpedoes are frequently employed in naval combat. Incorporating them into airplanes may offer a fresh perspective on military strategies. Torpedo-carrying aircraft were developed and employed by many nations for naval warfare during World War I and other conflicts. These aircraft were used in naval operations, especially in the fight against submarines. But the imaginative and somewhat fanciful portrayals of torpedo planes in the Français et l'Ennemi series were not the genuine thing. Throughout the past century, air combat has changed due to advancements in military aircraft technology. The propeller-driven biplanes of World War I and the stealthy fighters of today are examples of how technological advancements have increased the speed, maneuverability, and capability of aircraft. Future developments in propulsion, materials, and avionics will probably lead to ever more sophisticated fighters as aircraft technology continues to grow. The development of military aviation technology is evidence of human intelligence and inventiveness, and it will always be essential to the protection of countries everywhere. Labor-saving gadgets. The labor-saving equipment pictured in the images were thought to be machines and devices that could automate or simplify certain jobs, improving the comfort and efficiency of living. These products, which varied from domestic appliances to transportation equipment, were all made to cut down on the amount of time and effort needed for various tasks. The artists of that era made predictions about a day when people will have more leisure time and a greater standard of living thanks to advanced technology. Among the labor-saving equipment shown in the pictures were robotic helpers for different tasks, automated cleaning machines, and other innovations designed to save manual labor. Thanks to the increasing use of GIFs, memes, emojis, and bitmojis, we have witnessed the evolution of texting from the basic exchange of text-only messages to the appearance of visual elements. Actually, as short-form video sharing has grown in popularity, standard text is becoming shorter and supplemented by acronyms that are easy to understand. See Snapchat, Instagram Stories and Reels, Facebook Stories, etc. Our lives have been overtaken by social media. According to a Statista analysis, as of July 2023, 4.88 billion individuals, or 59.9% of the world's population, used social media. Social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, previously Twitter, are a few instances of how individuals in the modern world stay in touch. The globe becomes smaller when people use these platforms to communicate their ideas, images, and videos with friends and followers. Individuals can now establish online communities and networks by connecting with people who have similar interests. This kind of communication, albeit perhaps being superficial, keeps people connected to one another when they might have otherwise lost touch or never met. Do you recall the days when Netflix was essentially a mail-order DVD delivery service for your favorite movies, before binge watching became the norm? A growing number of individuals are choosing digital streaming and video services like Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu instead of traditional cable these days. Large businesses are attempting to match one another's original content, availability, and delivery channels in an effort to stay competitive. Streaming services are becoming the standard for entertainment, offering anything from our favorite TV series to live sporting events. The situation for advertising has also shifted as a result of the rise of streaming. Businesses are focusing more on digital advertising on streaming platforms as more consumers choose not to use traditional cable and satellite television. This enables them to precisely target particular demographics and reach a larger audience. Additionally, user-generated content should be acknowledged. Individuals and companies alike may now broadcast their own movies and material with the help of streaming services like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and TikTok Live. Anyone can now establish their own brand and have a platform to share their abilities, ideas, and opinions thanks to this. Future schools. The idea of books being fed to heads, in Français et l'Anglais, alludes to a futuristic vision that was shown in the series of drawings made for the Paris 1900 Exposition Universelle. In contrast to more conventional approaches like reading, the artists of that era envisioned a period where knowledge could be immediately and efficiently communicated to individuals. It's possible that the illustrator intended to depict a technologically advanced or mechanical procedure in which people's minds are somehow directly affected by the material they read in books. This idea stems from a fascination with the ways in which cutting-edge technology may expedite education and increase the speed and accessibility of information acquisition. The billionaire Elon Musk now desires the fusion of artificial intelligence and human thought. Among all of Elon Musk's ventures, including the Tesla automobiles, SpaceX rockets, Twitter takeover, and aspirations to inhabit Mars, his covert brain chip business Neuralink might be the riskiest. Why use Neuralink? It is intended to assist those who are paralyzed in the near future, but it's not the complete solution. The company, which was founded in 2016, disclosed in 2019 that it has developed flexible threads that can be inserted into the brain, along with a robot that resembles a sewing machine to perform the implanting. These threads are designed to read signals from a paralyzed patient's brain and send that data to a computer or iPhone, allowing the user to control it with only their thoughts, rather than via tapping, typing, or swiping. Neuralink has only been tested on animals thus far. However, the business declared in May that the FDA had granted it permission to conduct its first human clinical trial. They are currently looking for paralyzed volunteers to see if the implant gives them control over external gadgets. Millions of people's lives could be improved if the technique proves effective in individuals. In the US alone, there are about 5.4 million people who suffer from paralysis. Still, Musk's ultimate objective is not to aid the paralyzed. That is but a first step toward a far more ambitious long-term goal. To achieve a symbiosis with artificial intelligence, to use Musk's own words, is his desire. He wants to create a technology that enables humans to merge with AI so that humanity won't be left behind as AI advances. The FDA does not approve of this kind of fanciful concept for human studies, so concentrate on aiding those who are paralyzed? That might be met with more acclaim. Thus, it possesses. However, it's critical to realize that there are astronomical risks associated with this technology. The company pushed for an overly invasive, perhaps harmful approach to the implants that can damage the brain, and apparently have done so in animal test subjects, according to former Neuralink employees and industry experts. This was allegedly done to further Musk's objective of fusing AI with human brains. A request for comment from Neuralink was not answered. Beyond Neuralink, there are further ethical dangers for society as a whole. A number of businesses are creating brain plug technology that can read thoughts from our minds. This technology has the potential to undermine mental privacy and strengthen authoritarian monitoring. We need to get ready for what's about to happen. Machines playing instruments. One of the imagined ideas in Français et l'Enmise, a collection of futuristic drawings made for the 1900 Exposition Universelle in Paris, was machines that could play musical instruments. The drawings showed a future in which technology had progressed to the point that automated equipment or machines might fill in the functions that had historically been filled by human musicians. This idea is a reflection of the larger issue of technological optimism, which holds that machines and automation will transform all facets of life, including the arts. The notion was probably driven by the speed at which industrialization was developing and the growing extent to which machinery was being integrated into many industries. Within the realm of music, the pictures may have portrayed automated instruments or machines that could generate music without the need for direct human involvement. This could include automated orchestras, self-playing pianos, or other devices that mimic the sounds of conventional musical instruments. When records were introduced, technology began to influence music. In 1877, Thomas Edison created the rudimentary cylinder phonograph. Companies in the United States and England were producing disc recordings of music by the end of the 19th century. Before recordings, piano performances in private were the only way that music, whether written for keyboard or not, was consumed at home. The social and artistic implications of music were completely altered by the ability to record musical performances. Half a century later, the tape recorder was invented, making sonorities not only repeatable but also customizable. The ensuing methods made it possible to mix, distort, and add other effects on recorded sounds. Such alterations could impact timing as well as auditory characteristics. For instance, a composer may lengthen a word to last an hour, or compress a Beethoven symphony into a single second by altering the recording speed. Mail. The artist's predictions about the future development of communication technologies are perhaps reflected in the idea of voicemail in this context. A man serving as a servant is seen giving a postal delivery worker a device. In the contemporary definition, voicemails are digital recordings and storage of spoken messages that let people leave messages for later retrieval and listening. The idea depicted in the drawings points to a voice communication method that goes beyond conventional channels like telegrams or written letters. We now have a variety of tools to take the role of voicemail. The last time I received a voicemail with information beyond what I might have deduced from my phone call's display was, I can't recall when I received it. This person phoned from this number at this time. I understand. Oh, and it's safe to presume they would prefer that you give them a call back because you weren't present to take the call. I would much rather have a fat SMS than a voicemail as identification if I don't recognize the number. Emails are another technology we have. Our primary means of long-distance contact these days is email. Every day, more than 100 billion communications are sent and received, and this number is only projected to rise. Numerous services are available from hundreds of email providers, either for free or for a cost. Computers, phones, tablets, and any other internet-connected device can access email. With features like scheduling, junk mail screening, and tailored news feeds, modern email platforms provide users virtually complete control over their inboxes. Email has revolutionized global communication in the last 40 years. Industrialized Farms. They show farming with cutting-edge equipment and technologies in the year 2000. A few of the pictures feature submerged crops, flying tractors, robot harvesters, and enormous greenhouses. The painters envisioned a highly productive and efficient agricultural system that would feed France's expanding population. The production of crops and animals on a big scale and with high intensity is known as industrial agriculture. Chemical fertilizers are frequently used on crops, and animals are routinely given toxic medicines to make up for the unhygienic conditions, even when the animals are not ill. Genetically engineered crops, extensive pesticide usage, and other practices that degrade the environment, abuse animals, and worsen pollution levels could potentially be part of it. The agricultural sector has experienced a surge in consolidation in recent times due to the phenomenon known as vertical integration, which has seen a shift from small, diversified farms producing a wide range of crops and livestock to an industrialized system controlled by large multinational businesses. These companies prosper while growers, farmers, and their laborers witness their earnings vanish and the health risks associated with the industrial techniques rise. For thousands of years, people have been genetically changing plants. However, we used to do it the traditional manner, by selection. Generation after every generation, the ancient farmers ensured that any genetic variants that improved sweetness remained by planting seeds from only the tastiest fruits. Farmers developed a weedy small herb into cauliflower by choosing plants with progressively tiny white blooms. Although slow, it worked well. Electric trains. One of the drawings depicts an electric-powered futuristic train with a glass canopy and a streamlined style. The train is passing through beautiful forests, rivers, and mountains. The passengers are lounging in their cozy seats and taking in the scenery. The artwork implies that the creators imagined a time when technology will enhance leisure, comfort, and transportation. As one might expect, trains did not completely vanish, but starting in the early 1900s, steam-powered locomotives were gradually replaced by diesel and electric locomotives. By the 1980s, the majority of steam-powered locomotives had been removed from normal service. However, some remain in operation as heritage or tourist trains. The goal of heritage railways is to maintain the history of historic railroads by reconstructing or preserving them. Thus, the actual query is, what kinds of trains are in service right now? Diesel trains have been a mainstay in the train industry as heavy carriers since World War II. Diesel trains still dominate the railroads, despite the growing popularity of electric trains. On the other hand, high-speed trains are made to go faster than 124 miles per hour. These trains are widespread throughout the world and are frequently utilized for long-distance transport. High-speed trains were initially introduced by Japan's renowned Shinkansen line, and since then, they have gained popularity in many other nations. Automated people movers are more compact trains meant to transport up to 40 passengers at a time through constrained spaces. They can use a variety of rail types and can be found in airports, downtown districts, or amusement parks. Yes, hover trains are a kind of high-speed train that substitutes hovercraft lift pads for traditional steel wheels and a paved road-like surface called the guideway or track for the traditional railway bed. The idea is to simplify the infrastructure required to construct new lines, eliminating rolling resistance and enabling very high performance. Although the term hover trains is general, the vehicles are most frequently referred to by the project names of the places where they were built. They are called tracked air cushion vehicles in the US, but tracked hovercraft in the UK. But by the middle of the 1970s, major development on hover trains had ceased. The Otis Hover Air System, which was initially designed by General Motors as an automated guideway transit system, was the only hover train to reach commercial service. The idea ultimately ended up at Otis Elevator, which sold the resulting design for people mover installations worldwide after replacing its linear motor with a cable pull. Cleaning devices. The drawings show many scenarios of how people in 2000 would carry out daily duties, such as cleaning their clothes, homes, and pets, using cutting-edge technology. A few of the cleaning tools seen in the drawings are a massive vacuum cleaner that gathers debris and dust from buildings and streets, a huge metal drum-shaped washing machine that uses steam to clean dishes and clothes, a robotic housekeeper that uses a feather duster to dust the furniture and sweeps the floor, a device that cleans a person's tongue and teeth while they are laying in bed, a transportable shower that mists a person using soap and water while they go down a sidewalk, a tool that uses a brush and comb to clean a woman's hair while she is seated, and a device that cleans and dries a caged dog. Robotic vacuums have grown in popularity over the last 10 years as home appliances. They are made to clean floors thoroughly and efficiently, saving time and effort. These vacuums are developing quickly, therefore new features and technology are added annually to better meet the needs of customers. This year is no different, with significant developments occurring in the areas of self-cleaning, object detection, self-emptying bins, mopping, and navigation. Advanced navigation is one of the biggest advancements in robot vacuums. Early robot vacuums, such as iRobot's Roomba, included bumpers, which frequently caused the vacuum to react with erratic and ineffective cleaning patterns. Owners of homes occasionally discovered a vacuum tucked away in a corner. Today, it isn't the case. Cutting-edge navigation technology, like LiDAR, are used by modern vacuums to map out cleaning paths by sensing the layout of the room. As a result, the cleaning is done more thoroughly and effectively. This is an essential function for any robot vacuum you might be thinking about buying. Since they were first invented, washing machines have experienced substantial developments. The Echo Bubble technology, which produces bubbles that pierce cloth and remove dirt more efficiently than conventional washing machines, is one of the most noteworthy innovations. The invention of steam washing technology, which uses steam to clean clothing and get rid of wrinkles, is another noteworthy development. Along with these developments, the laundry sector is seeing a lot of other new trends. One such trend is the usage of waterless washing machines, which can reduce water use by up to 90%. Additionally, users of this system save 30% on their operating costs for power and water. Additionally, washing machines come with a host of features that improve their effectiveness and user-friendliness. For instance, 3D sensing technology employs sensors to determine the size and form of the laundry load and modifies the washing cycle accordingly, while anti-spill technology keeps detergent from pouring out of the washing machine. With jet spray technology, garments are cleaned more completely because water and detergent are sprayed directly onto them. Lastly, to ensure that the garments dry more effectively, Intelligent ultra-dry spin technology employs sensors to determine the moisture content of the clothing and modifies the spin cycle accordingly. Speech to text. In one of these series pictures, a woman is seen taking notes on the words a man is uttering into what appears to be a microphone. Many people believe that this picture represents voice recognition technology in its early stages. It's crucial to remember that this picture was produced in 1899, and voice recognition technology did not reach its full potential until the 1950s. Consequently, it is more likely that the picture was meant to be a playful depiction of the artist's imagination than a somber forecast of the future. Voice-to-text technology was mostly utilized for transcription and dictation in the early 2000s. However, there have been notable gains in voice recognition speed and accuracy due to advances in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and neural language processing. As a result, voice-to-text technology became increasingly useful for a range of applications, such as CRM software, smart home appliances, and virtual assistants. Speech recognition technology became increasingly prevalent in personal computers in the early 2000s. One of the first consumer speech recognition apps to be commercially successful was Dragon Naturally Speaking, which allowed users to dictate text and operate computers with voice commands. Machine learning algorithms and better hardware have also allowed speech recognition technology to achieve notable gains in accuracy and speed, which has increased its use across a range of industries. Air Postman. A picture from the series also shows an air postman delivering mail from an aircraft. Many people believe that this picture is an early example of flying mail delivery. One way to deliver mail using airplanes is to fly mail delivery. In 1918, the USPS started utilizing aircraft for mail delivery. The aviation sector has advanced significantly since then. The most noteworthy development is drone delivery. In remote locations where regular postal delivery is challenging, drones have been utilized to deliver mail and goods. An additional noteworthy development is autonomous delivery. In cities, autonomous cars have been utilized to transport goods and mail. Significant improvements in safety have also been made by the aviation sector, as seen by the decline in annual accidents and incidents. Technology has also increased the efficiency of the aviation sector by enabling planes to fly farther and with less fuel. The development of e-commerce has been closely linked to technological advancements and the internet. What global revolution has e-commerce brought about? The internet has surpassed traditional in-store shopping as the preferred medium for product marketing, promotion, and sales during the past 10 years, leading to a boom in the e-commerce sector. Email or simple online forms were used for online transactions in the early days of e-commerce. There are numerous ways to do internet transactions nowadays. Online shopping is among the most popular approaches. Without using a middleman provider, customers can purchase goods or services from sellers directly via the internet. Online intermediary services are an additional technique. Intermediation services are provided by a third party or intermediary between two trading partners. Online classified ads and advertisements represent an additional avenue for online transactional activity. It's a type of advertising where marketing messages are sent online in an effort to draw in customers. Lastly, online service providers who specialize in hosting these kinds of auctions are the ones who conduct online auctions. Online marketplaces like Amazon and eBay began to appear in the late 1990s and early 2000s as the internet began to gain popularity on a global scale. These platforms revolutionized and completely changed the way people saw shopping, allowing them to buy and sell products online, check out on the platform, pay the required amount, and have their purchases delivered to their destination within the allotted time. Electronic commerce, or e-commerce, has expanded and undergone substantial changes since the early 1990s when internet merchants first started operating. Seeing how the past has been imagined and how much of these predictions have come true is interesting, in fact. The artwork of French artists provides a singular glimpse into the past, and their insightful and inventive forecasts for 2000 are quite astounding. Through humorous drawings, French artist Jean-Marc Coté and his associates tried to envision what the world would look like in 2000. Known as France in the Year 2000, these sci-fi images were first published in 4 parts between 1899 and 1910. Initially, they were postcards, then as inserts for cigarette and cigar boxes. Some of their forecasts came true with startling accuracy, such as the one about video conferencing, which is now a standard component of contemporary communication. Some predictions, like the one about flying automobiles, which are still uncommon on our roadways, were only partially accurate. We should be proud of our innovation and progress that we have achieved so much in such a short amount of time. The future vision of the French painters reminds us to never give up on our hopes and aspirations for a better world. Even though their forecasts weren't perfect, they nonetheless show the value of creativity and the inventive spirit of people. These are but a handful of illustrations of how the past has been viewed and how far we have come since then. Thanks for watching.